This song sets a poem by Hildegard Jona. It has a texture that is sometimes called pointillistic, small jabs of notes and vertiginous melodic leaps that seem to preclude any possibility of musical connection and coherence. But amid the isolated bursts of activity and sudden leaps, there are subtle repetitions. For example, the poetic rhyme, Wie bin ich froh and Und leuchtet so, is supported by a musical rhyme. The first four notes are the same as the last four. Through it all, the music seems to shimmer with bright colors, thus resonating with a text about springtime growth. A rich network of musical relationships grows from the first three notes and their intervals. The musical relationships burgeon as a reflection of a text in which once more all grows green around me and shines so. The first three melody notes, G, E, D sharp, present intervals -3 and +11. The same pattern of intervals occurs twice more in the melody, first transposed down 5 semitones, then transposed up 5 semitones. First, G, E, D sharp, then D, B, B flat, 5 semitones lower. Then C, A, G sharp, 5 semitones higher. This creates both a sense of symmetrical balance and a framework for the melody. Its first note is G, the first note in the first of the three motives. Its lowest note is B, the second note in the second of the three motives. And its highest note is G sharp, the third note in the third of the three motives. In a more abstract sense, this melodic frame has the same intervals as the three-note motive. The motivic intervals are 1, 3, and 4 in the first three notes. From D sharp to E is 1. From E to G is 3. And from G to D sharp is 4. We find the same intervals among the notes in the melodic frame. G, the first note, B, the lowest note, and G sharp, the highest note. From G to B is 4. From B to G sharp is 3. And from G to G sharp is 1. An additional, slightly varied form of the three-note motive is somewhat concealed in the melody, overlapping with the second of the three principal statements. All four of these statements have the same intervals from lowest to highest, even when the order of the notes changes. E, G, D sharp, D, F, C sharp, B, D, B flat, and A, C, G sharp. The last four notes, the ones with the rhyme we discussed a moment ago, are arranged in register so that the lowest three represent yet another form of the basic three-note motive. Here are the last four notes. And in those last four notes, the lowest three are G, D sharp, F sharp, with those familiar motivic intervals, 1, 3, and 4. Taken as a whole, the melody is rich in direct and varied statements of the three-note motive. There is a great deal of obvious imitation between the vocal melody and the piano accompaniment. The central three-note motive is heard 5 times in a recurring rhythmic figure in the piano part. We gain additional perspective on these and other more subtle imitations within and between the parts by focusing on the 12-tone organization of the passage as a whole. The melody states one 12-tone series, which is labeled P7. That's the prime ordering starting on pitch class 7 or G. There's then a sort of canon between the voice's P7 and the piano's P7 that starts just a moment later. Before and after, we hear statements in the piano of RI7. That's the retrograde of the inversion that starts on pitch class 7 or G. Let's inspect those two series forms for their segmental subsets. We are particularly interested in the set class of the three-note motive, set class 014. It occurs 4 times within the series. Every note other than F sharp in P7 and G sharp in I7 is a member of at least one form of 014. In addition to these intervallic similarities, 4 of the actual pitch class dyads are shared between the two series forms, and these can be heard echoing back and forth within and between the parts. Rhythmically, the piano part consists of just 4 recurring figures: a 16th note triplet, an 8th note dyad, a 4-note chord, and a single note. The triplets always represent 014, containing intervals 1, 3, and 4. The dyads are always interval 1. The 4-note chords combine 2 1s, or a 1 and a 3. The single notes combine with nearby vocal melody notes to create additional forms of 014. In all of these ways, the intervals of the initial melodic trichord resonate throughout the passage.